Hello there, it's me, Sari, here again, and today I thought I'd show you how to make an easel card. This is a pretty big one, as you can see, and when I flip it over it'll be like this, and it'll stand on its own and be quite nice to look at. And I'm hoping that the recipient, whoever it might be, will be pleased with it. So today I'm going to show you how to make this easel card with a twist. So let's get started. I used a whole lot of big scallop or big dies from Spellbinders. These are called grand nestabilities. So they're a bit bigger in size. Some of them go actually up to almost 8 inches. So that is why it's nice to have a big die cutting machine as the embosser, or perhaps even the grand caliber from Spellbinders. So what I started off with is a piece of paper that is sort of an A3 size, and I cut it to size in order to make it fit into this machine. And I also put some tape here because I need to run it through a couple of times because this paper weighs 250 grams. So I'm not going to be able to get it through with just one cut. So having it taped down like so, it will actually make it easier for me to just do the cutting a couple of times. And since the tape is there, I'm also going to see if and when it is ready. I'm just going to get that started and get these in there. And it would take me 18 seconds actually to just run this through, and in that time I can actually do something else. It's nice, isn't it? So the machine stops by itself, and they say that the eBuzzer is the biggest electronic die cutting machine on the market. I'm going to flip this one just a little bit up and repeat the thing once more. Hope that it will be enough this time. So it looks almost done, but it isn't really done, so I think I'll just move it up a little bit more and just do this. I did try to use this combination with the shim, but it was too thick and the machine started reversing it. So I'm thinking it ought to be ready now, because the last time I did this 3 times was needed. But I think, well, the tape is actually keeping this down. So as long as I can take it out like this, I'm actually happy. And even though this is washi tape, I have found that since I have run it through 3 times, it will be a little bit more sticky to the paper, so it actually has a tendency to tear it up. But fortunately, it'll just do it on the side that I'm not going to use, so I'm not going to be that upset about it. And this is a leftover piece, and I'm just going to rip it like so, and perhaps I'll use that one later, but just going to throw this in the bin. So now you see that I've got a nice card base here, and the important thing of course is when you do the die cutting that you actually do put this just a little bit outside the paper, as you can see there, because otherwise it's going to cut these into 2 separate pieces and I'm not going to And in that case, I can't really use that as a complete card base, now can I? So this is basically it, and you can do the same thing with all the dice from, for example, Spellbinders, or perhaps even Tim Holtz's dice, depending on what size you've got and what kind of a shape you've got. So in order to get this one with a twist, you're going to need some kind of a scoring board. And I'm going to use, but perhaps I could actually go for... I could go for the Scorpel, hoping it will be alright. So in this case, I'm going to do a diagonal score there. I'm just going to find the mark for the 6-inch thing there. And I'm just going to put this one diagonal like so. And use this one, since this has a little deeper a groove. So I find it's a little bit easier to work with this one. And actually I just forgot about it. I should have done it like so, but I actually managed to get it pretty nice anyway. When you have a shaped card base, it's better to just fold it over by hand and make the edge line up. Otherwise it could be that you actually get it outside, so you had better do it that way. I'm sorry, I forgot about it. So now you see, what is this? It's almost like a TP card or something, but it isn't. So I'm going to go here. And when I tape this one down, I'm just going to tape it down on the triangular shape here. And I'm going to tape it down like so. And in that way, I can actually have my easel card with a twist. So it's going to be quite nice looking, but you need to pay attention, because this one looks like it's all right like so. When I flip it over like this, it's still going to be fairly all right. But the thing is that if you're going to do your stamping like so here, and you are going to open up your card, well, it could be all right having the stamp facing you right now, but it could be nicer actually just have it on a diagonal like so, because this one is going to be on a diagonal. So perhaps you ought to think about that when you're going to complete your card. For this card I kept it really simple. I just die cut these shapes. This is a scalloped square, this is the labels 1, and this is just a scalloped circle, and all these three are used with the Destability's grand sizes. And for this red circle here, I just used the biggest of the regular ones, the regular circles, the large ones, but not the grand large. And when I fold it up, you see that I've used the same colors, but I actually added on a 3-inch circle here because I sort of had damaged this on the inside. I did some stamping and I wasn't happy with it, so I just decided on covering it up with some die cut and such. And then I have used these wonderful die cuts. These are called fancy labels, or fancy tags I think they're called. So I die cut these, this one in a craft paper with some grid pattern, and this one I actually die cut in just white paper, and while the die was sitting in on that paper I actually did color it in with some distress ink and a distressing tool, and when I took it off I actually ended up with the lovely pieces there. And then I have put on stamps and such on 3D tape, so it's actually pretty high up, this one, so it's getting me a nice definition, and that is needed when I want to keep this card standing on its own. So you're going to need something there to actually keep it in place. You could use a button, a couple of flowers, or you could just go for something with a 3D effect. So this is basically it. This is a regular easel card, and here's the card with a twist. And just one more thing, depending on which way you're going to score this, of course the opening is going to go either that way, or had I done it that way, it's gonna go the other way. So you can actually have the choice of making it into 2 different directions. So I'm going to sign off right now, and I wish you a very, very nice evening, morning or day, or whatever you might be facing. Bye bye.